and thank you so much for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz here with meteorologist Corrales Ortiz. Behind us, it's looking sunny and beautiful, but when you step outside, it's not feeling that way.
Yeah, and you know, the same old thing we've been dealing with for the last couple of weeks, just intense heat. Today was no exception.
Too much of it.
Too much of
it.
it.
I want a break, Corrales.
I do have some good news, though. We will be seeing a break in this pattern.
That's the first time you've been able to say that for a while.
She was so surprised, and I'm happy too, because I haven't really been able to enjoy being outside for too long, unless it's by, you know, the pool or the lake.
Right.
Or
but
something.
even then, it's in the shade, so it's really.
But here's a look at what we're dealing with right now this evening. It's still pretty hot. We're sitting at 95 here in the metro, 92 an area over in Russellville, but the humidity is really what makes the difference. It still feels like it's in the triple digits. I'll have a look at what we saw for our high today coming up in just minutes, but we also have a little pop-up shower activity, a little pop-up storm. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Cleburne, Stone, Independence County until at least 6:15. Not a whole lot of action going on elsewhere across the state, and we are quiet here in the metro, so we will be seeing mostly clear skies tonight, warm winds, and temperatures still just as warm in the low 80s to upper 70s. But I'll have a full look at the forecast, what to expect in terms of when we can finally see relief in the forecast.
Dozens of protests are taking place around the country just a day after the Supreme Court's decision to revoke the constitutional right to an abortion. Serena Marshall reports from outside the Supreme Court.
Protesters, both for and against abortion rights, were back out in front of the Supreme Court Saturday.
I choose life. What do you choose?
I choose whatever I choose.
Thank you.
Joseph Ross demonstrated with and for his wife Jessica and their baby daughter.
Because, I mean, she almost died during her pregnancy. We had so many different times where we didn't think the pregnancy was going to be viable, and that was something that we were going to have to look at.
My body, my choice.
Demonstrators are taking to the streets in more than 50 cities throughout the weekend.
It is about babies. It's about her rights. It's about my rights. It's about making sure that she and I have the life that we deserve to have. 26
states petitioned the court to overturn Roe. 13 already have laws on the books that would ban abortion almost immediately. The others are poised to ban or greatly restrict it. In states where abortion is still legal, they're gearing up to offer reproductive health care to an influx of people crossing state lines. And these protesters say they're ready to help. In Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz signed an executive order meant to protect Minnesota abortion services from laws in neighboring states.
You've got a family member in Texas who calls and asks what you can do to help them. That phone call subjects you to Texas felony laws for aiding and abetting someone to make their own personal health care decision. We will stand for every single person to the fullest extent of the law to make sure that that never happens in Minnesota.
CBS News has obtained a memo from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security warning that threats of political violence, particularly against judges and state officials, will likely intensify. Friday night in Phoenix, police fired tear gas from the windows of the Arizona Capitol building to disperse hundreds of people demonstrating outside. Some had banged on the door, sending lawmakers into the basement for 20 minutes. And in Longmont, Colorado, this still operating abortion clinic was set on fire and vandalized. Serena Marshall, CBS News, Washington.
Protesters also took to the state capitol steps in Arkansas yesterday. With a landmark decision reversal like this one, people are asking what comes next for Arkansans. So in an exclusive interview, I sat down with Governor Hutchinson to show us how he's responding to the ruling. He went on to say that the new law in the state bans abortion except for saving the mother's life and has no exceptions for rape or incest. Last month, Hutchinson said he would consider efforts to put those exceptions back in place. But yesterday, he voiced a different perspective. It doesn't have any exceptions for rape or incest. You've talked about some hesitation about that in the past. How are you feeling now?
You know, I've made the point that there is a closer debate on the exceptions of rape and incest, but the legislative will was clear. I don't expect that to be revisited in the short term, if at all, and because they expressed the will of the people of Arkansas that they want to protect the life of the unborn.
Hutchinson also said that he hopes parents will, quote, step up to the plate to adopt kids as needed. But there are still unanswered questions about what resources will be needed and how much in the coming months. So we'll share the governor's plans tonight at 10. More legislative changes are coming out of our nation's capital today. This morning, President Biden signed bipartisan gun bill reform, the Safer Communities Act, into law. The president applauded the bill and the members of Congress who worked together to pass it. This reform covers a variety of actions, all intended to reduce gun violence and save lives.
We are doing something consequential. If we can reach compromise on guns, we ought to be able to reach compromise on other critical issues, from veterans health care to cutting-edge American innovation and so much more.
This bill comes in the wake of recent mass shootings and an increase in gun violence nationwide. This bill is the most significant firearms legislation to be passed in nearly 30 years. We have all made it to the weekend, and what a better way to kick it off than with a brunch for a good cause. Well, hundreds of people did just that at the Brunchfest event put on by the Centers for Youth and Families today. THV11's Frederick Price shows us tonight how organizers say the fest continues to help Arkansas kids in so many ways.
Some people are fans of Saturday brunch, but for Melissa Hendricks, the hot meal is a way to give back to the community.
So our Young Professionals group wanted to take on a signature fundraiser to raise funds for the kids who live at the centers.
She says the Centers for Youth and Families is one of Arkansas's longest-running nonprofits. Their mission is to support kids with common problems thousands face every day.
We help about 5,000 people a year with services along a mental health spectrum.
Nearly 400 people came to Saturday's Brunchfest, all with a passion to make sure kids get the help they need.
Therapeutic needs, resources like basic everyday needs like food and clothing.
Mary Claire Hill has been a part of their Emerging Leaders organization for about 3 years. A group of young professionals who raise money for the centers. Brunchfest is their biggest event, but it suffered like many things in 2020.
The pandemic impacted everyone, and the centers definitely felt that impact.
Even though the festival was paused, she was still able to help in a different capacity.
I was able to dedicate time to and resources really to help step in and send coloring books or things that the students could do while they were in their facilities.
Amanda McCauley says being a part of this group really allows her to give back to communities in Arkansas.
Part of this is going to benefit their summer activities, and that's such a huge deal for kids.
A huge deal not only for the people this organization serves, but for the businesses who also support their mission.
It really started something new that the restaurants were thrilled to get behind, and obviously people in the community wanted to get behind.
In Little Rock, Frederick Price, THV 11 News.
The organization raised $45,000 today. And while Brunchfest is their largest event, the young professionals say they help with other parties for kids all year long. And fundraisers continued across the state today. Thrasher Boys and Girls Club hosted its first Summerfest program. They raised funds to help keep the club open for community children. The club shut its doors during the pandemic, but reopened this past spring. Right now, the club's only open 3 days a week due to budget constraints, and the fundraiser is aimed at reopening the indoor swimming pool and expanding programming for all children. The organization says the club needs money to support their operations and programs designed to divert youth from crime and into healthy and safe activities. If you want to help the Thrasher Club keep their doors open, we have more information on how you can do that on our website at thv11.com. And this morning, downtown Little Rock was gifted a new mural near the intersection of 8th and Main Streets. The mural, painted by hundreds of Arkansans in support of the arts, was all possible by the combined work of the Little Rock Downtown Partnership and the Arkansas Arts Council. The concept for the painting was the brainchild of Little Rock artist Sandra Strong.
My inspiration was just the community and kids, those simple things of just going to the park, having fun, enjoying an ice cream cone, enjoying family and friends, taking your pets to the park, just something fun and colorful.
The Cutwell for Kids Arts Initiative also helped bring more beautiful art to downtown Little Rock. So a big kudos to everyone that braved that heat to make this beautiful piece of art possible. And like I said, we're seeing a lot of heat. So with the summer temperatures, pet parents are looking for ways to help keep their fur babies cool. But which methods are safe? Well, our Verify team will have those answers in just 6 minutes.
Live look across the metro this evening. We had another beautiful weekend. It was just hot. Well, how hot did we get today? I'll have that with your look at your 3-degree guarantee and another look at your weekend forecast coming up.